What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Stacey the Intuitive. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I'm going to be talking about something that is highly sought after in the divinity and spirituality world, right? So it's the topic of manifestation and how to really create the reality of your desire, right? So get your blankets, get comfy. We're going to be talking about this topic today. I feel that I finally kind of cracked the code a bit, and I would love to share with you guys what I've learned, because I've so many times just seen these people who are just in such abundant states, such, the optimal timelines telling us, you just need to believe. That's how you manifest. You believe, you get it. And I've just been like, bro, I'm so tired of hearing that. I'm so tired of hearing the act as if. I'm so tired of hearing all of those worn out, repetitive, means of advice from people who are already where they wish to be, because it just doesn't seem relatable. For me personally, I'm kind of in that stage where I feel like I'm manifesting the reality of my desires wholeheartedly. I see, things unfolding in that way, but I do have my days where I'm like, I can't act as if, because I am where I am, you know what I mean? And I really do feel like I've kind of stepped into this place where I'm no longer feeling stuck, or I'm no longer feeling in a place of lack, and I truly feel in connection with the divine. And so I just kind of want to share with you guys how I've come to this place. So for me personally, the whole trust thing, it is a very important part of it, but the notion of trusting just seems so arbitrary. It seems so dense. It just seems so surface, right? Just telling us to trust. To me, it just never worked. It never stuck. As much as I would be like, okay, I'm going to trust today, it never stuck, because the reality of the situation is that you are where you are. And so for me, the biggest thing was reorienting my focus. I found that the biggest thing for me has been reorienting my focus. About a couple weeks ago, I got this message where it was kind of like I needed to reorient myself towards the light. And that kind of just started this unfoldment of really getting me into the energy of manifesting my dream reality. First of all, aligning my vibration to that place where I could feel enough that, okay, trust is inevitable. It's not something that I'm trying to do. It's just inevitable. It just flows from me. That is where I think that we need to be, to a place. What needs to be the goal is to come to such a mindset, to come to such a place within that trust is inevitable, that it's effortless, that it's not something that you have to question, and that worry is something that just doesn't feel natural at the time. That is what I have found to be the most true. I'm gonna let you guys know kind of how I came to that place. So like I said, I really challenged myself to reorient myself towards the light. It had nothing to do with trying to manifest good in my life. It was really just about the conscious effort that I would take every single time I found myself going into darkness to try to reorient myself towards the light. It was quite a battle. I'm gonna say for about 2 weeks, I felt like, oh my goodness, there's just so much, I'm always trying to reorient myself towards the light, but every single time that I find my energy coming down, I'm not finding very many benefits of me reorienting towards the light. Maybe my mood would come up, but it had been after a long day of struggling to just say to myself, you know what, this has to be purpose, this has to be purpose. And sure enough, it was purpose. But like all things on the divine, as a divine being, you kind of have to be patient. You have to be present and just allow. You cannot be resisting, you cannot be impatient, you cannot be forceful, because that just defeats the purpose. So for me personally, I found that after kind of a 2-week process of reorienting myself towards the light, it became much easier to just be in the light itself. And then, that doesn't mean that I didn't have moments where my energy kind of depleted. The most important thing to notate here is that I did have a time where my energy went to the point of the lowest end of the spectrum, where I had absolutely no trust, no desire to reorient myself towards the light, and just felt like nothing mattered. I did go to that place, and from that place, that was very stabilizing for me. I've learned something in my journey, is that a lot of the time when I am balancing myself towards a more stable and harmonious, consistent state, I found that I will experience the whole spectrum before coming to balance. So I might experience the highest of the high, and then the lowest of the low, and then I'll come to balance, and sometimes it'll be it can be in different amounts of space. It can be 1 week I'm at the highest of the high, 1 week I'm at the lowest of the lower. It can all happen in one day. That's not what's important. But what's important to know is that I did go to a point where I had completely lost all faith and trust after having been at a point of really trying to reorient myself towards the light, because I was feeling like my efforts were kind of going unnoticed, or like, like it wasn't very appreciated that I was actively trying to reorient myself towards the light. And so after coming out of that stage, man, let me just tell y'all, things have unfolded in such a beautiful and miraculous way that I feel like obviously that was just so intentioned for me. And I'm at a point now where I feel so trusting. Like, trust is just where I feel comfortable. I feel safe in that space where I used to feel really insecure and unsafe in the space of trust. So I just want to tell you guys exactly how I got there. Essentially, I got to that point by kind of being very transparent with God and divine about where I was and how I felt that things were going. And the most important thing that kind of like God was trying to make clear to me was that I had been so focused on the manifestation itself rather than the journey, rather than the being. And what I needed to be most focused on was my ability to be receptive, because every single time I would find myself wavering in trust, faith, belief, whatever, focusing on those aspects. Even take the manifestation aside, if I'm focusing on, I just don't feel like I can trust this, but whatever, that energy was repelling the energies of attraction, literally, or of magnetism in my aura. So any of the energies that would have been necessary in creating these manifestations, these desires, the unfoldment of this reality had been being repelled by me every single time that I would focus my energy and attention away from, my present moment and being, in the most attractive energy that I could be in for my desires, for my manifestations. Now, what do I mean by this? So whenever you are manifesting something, and just in general, the feminine energy, and in its balance with the masculine energy, needs to be in a place of receptivity, needs to be in a place of trust, so that it can receive the downloads, the inspiration, the creative potential, whatever necessary, whatever inclination to act. It needs to be in that receptive state so that it can create that reality. So if you're already in a state where you're kind of like, you're focused on a goal, for me, it's like, okay, my career success, what I want to do. Let's say I'm focused on my career success. For me, I had constantly been looking at the fact that I hadn't received the career success that I was desiring. I'm like, it still isn't going the way that I want, blah, 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 stuff like that. And since I was focused so much in that place, I was never in a receptive energy to receive the inspiration, receive the downloads, receive the information, or whatever that God would have wanted me to receive to get the ball rolling. My focus was never in the right place. So let me go a little bit into depth with that, because I feel like it's a little bit vague. Okay, so my camera cut off. I'm very sorry about that. But if my goal was to see my divine endeavor really take off, my focus would need to be in such a place that I believe that it's going to work out for me, so that I am able to just have all the energies come to me of inspiration to create, to be in a creative space. And I was never in the proper energy for the creative space. I was so focused on the fact that it wasn't here yet, when was it going to come, that I wasn't really allowing myself to enjoy the process or even be a part of the process. And in the process is where we become closer with our source. That is where we really tap into that creative energy, that creative potential, that source energy, because source energy is creation, guys. And so if you're neglecting that, then I feel like you are inevitably neglecting your connection with the divine. And so for me personally, it was really just about being like, you know what? I feel like what I do, what I create, can produce the results of my desires. And I also believe that my creator is more than capable of, bending whatever rules of time, space, whatever that need to be bent in order to bring in whatever abundance and success that I can, that I can access. And so it's really just about believing that both of us have the power necessary to bring about the desired results. And instead of focusing on the thing being here right now, it's focusing on your capability in the present moment. And for me, that really just allowed me to reinforce the sense of trust for the divine, because I was like, I already know that. And like, now I'm starting to get inspiration and all that. Like, of course it's working out. Of course the divine is supporting this. I just wasn't in the right space. So when people are telling you it's all about trust, blah, 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 it's not about trusting the end result, guys. That is a part of it. It's just like having the vision in your head. But literally, once you have the vision, take that out of your perception at all and focus solely on, okay, I really want the inspiration to come to me. Okay, I really want to be inspired. Okay, I really want to be, you know, in flow and for the energies to just come to me and just be in that creative, I keep saying creative and stuff, but to be in that creative space. Focus on that. It'll come to you and you'll just start trusting inevitably, because everything that you're doing is just so aligned and you're in such an aligned space that you're like, how could it not work out? Right? So that's how I feel that I am now in the process of just true manifestation. And I was even saying to God, I was like, God, if this is the way, if you're telling me that all it takes is just me being receptive to these energies, if I can start manifesting stuff like that, then man, the power that I will possess in this world, y'all. That's what I was telling God yesterday. But that's what it's really about, right? And now it just feels so natural. It doesn't feel natural for me to worry because I already know what that worry is repelling. And more than anything, I don't want to be coming out of an energy of satisfaction that comes from just being creative and inspired. So I really hope that this video was able to help some of you. I really hope that I was able to offer you guys some just perspective that'll help you even further in your journey. So I will see you guys next time, and I just thank you guys so much for watching and being here. Bye guys.